So we talk protein a lot on this channel because it's, kind of a thing. That's why they call us meatheads, right? But one thing that we haven't gotten into yet is, a lot of people take whey protein post-workout, but which is better, isolate or concentrate? What's the difference? Before we get into the differences between whey isolate and whey concentrate, we should first go over specifically what whey protein is. So whey is a complete protein that's obtained from milk. It's about 20% of constituent milk proteins, the other 80% being casein. It originally was the waste product and was, cue bad joke, dog meme, thrown away in the process of turning yogurt into cheese, but has since become a mainstay of the supplement industry and is pretty much a household name at this point. It's a great protein source for people post-training for the fact that it has a complete amino acid profile. Per volume, it has a very high protein concentration, both isolate and concentrate. Has minimal carbs, minimal lactose, minimal fat, and is pretty quick digesting, so it checks a lot of boxes. It's important to understand that whey protein comes from milk and is extracted via a process because there is an additional process that distinguishes whey isolate from whey concentrate. It's actually relatively simple and involves a filtration process. A certain amount of filtration renders the liquid whey into whey concentrate, and then an additional amount of filtration renders the concentrate into isolate. The main difference between isolate and concentrate is that isolate is more protein per volume. How much does that matter though, really? And what exactly does that distinction affect? Well, a couple of things. First of all, lactose. Now, both isolate and concentrate have minimal lactose. However, concentrate is roughly 3.5% lactose, whereas isolate is like 1% or less. If you are lactose intolerant, then that small percentage could be a big difference depending on your sensitivity. So that's one thing. I personally am very lactose intolerant, and many years ago, 28 to be exact, when I first started training, the OG like Twin Lab whey protein or Metrex whey protein, there was enough lactose in there that it would make my stomach pretty upset, and I would actually have to take a lactase to eat it. Nowadays, I've tried just about every brand of protein on the market, and the lactose content is negligible. But that's just my personal experience. Next is fat concentration. Now, obviously, whey protein in any form has very minimal fat. I mean, even the crappiest concentrate that you get is going to be like 85% protein per volume. But there is some marginal amount of fat in concentrate, almost none in isolate. What that ends up doing is adjusting the macros per scoop ever so slightly. So it'll be something like, if you have a 120 calorie scoop of concentrate, it might be like 18 grams of protein, like 3 grams of fat, and like 2 carb or something like that. Whereas the same 120 calories of isolate might be like 23 or 25 grams of protein and like 0.5 fat and 1 carb. Something like that. And it's going to alter slightly depending on brand and composition and size of the scooper and all that stuff. I'm just ballparking off the top of my head, but that's fairly accurate. Okay, now the real reason why you watch this video, the practical takeaways from all this information. There are 2, and they are thus. Isolate is more expensive per scoop, and obviously then per jar, than concentrated. Let's say you get some protein concentrate for like 35 bucks for a bottle, right? And then you get some isolate from that same company. The isolate might run you like $50 or $55 for the same amount of protein. Why more? Well, there's that extra filtration process that gives you more protein per volume. And if you care about that, then you're going to pay more for the isolate. Why would you care about that? Well, I mean, it depends on the application, right? If you are trying to get in as much protein with as little volume of food mass as possible, then isolate marginally over time is a little bit more beneficial to you than the concentrate would be. If you're a very large individual with very steep protein requirements, that might be a thing. For most of us regular sized folk, it's not really that big of a deal. What is a big deal to us regular sized folk, however, is how quickly the shake goes down. If I'm in a hurry and I just need to slam some protein real quick, it's isolate. If I'm making a shake as a meal replacement and I kind of want to sip on it and actually enjoy it, then I'm probably going to go with concentrate. Those are the two main things, folks. They both work equally as well, in my opinion. If I want to eat again sooner, then I have isolate. If I want to have a shake that is going to actually be a meal substitute and keep me full for a couple hours, then I have concentrate. And for that reason, depending on what my schedule looks like, I keep a tub of each on deck for both applications. Thanks for watching.